Hello, everybody. Welcome. Basically, this is a wonderful morning. Wonderful day, whoever you guys are around the world. This is gonna be very interesting. I basically haven't did a live video for basically a couple of weeks. But the point being is that in this wonderful way about how this is gonna be a very good poker game to play, and I understand that this can be very interesting, of enticing, and that's the way it kind of goes, right? To whoever is going to be watching this video, and that's the way it goes. Remember that you can say hi in the live chat if you want, but that's how it is. Remember that this is going to be very interesting on how it is in one way or another. Is where I have the other button. You're going to figure out who's going to go first, and that's the way it goes. And then I have a team's card that will be very good about splitting the cards up as well. And that's the way it goes. And for reference, is that the guys will be on your left side, Zodiac is on the right side. Do not get confused about it, but that's the way it needs to be in that way, and that's how it is. Um, the further ado, without any questions about this whole entire way of how it is, I just wanted to say something to um, basically on how it is in one way or another. I'm going to be drinking my coffee here because that's the way it kind of goes, right? So it's gonna be very interesting on how it is, and this is the way it needs to be, right? So I just want to say it in my own way, and this is how it kind of is in that moment, and this is the way it seems to be, I guess, because there's a way of how everything is in that way, and you think that, okay, well, everything will be fine, dandy, what have you, but then it's very interesting on how it is in one way or another, and you think, okay, well, this can be the way it seems to be, right? So the way of how this is going to be in this whole entire way, I think that this is going to be very interesting on how it goes, right? Because that's the way it seems to be in this wonderful way. And I think to myself, it's like, well, everything will be all fine, dandy, what have you, and that's the way it goes. This is like based on how you can do your own math and the way it seems to be in this wonderful way. And you think that, okay, well, this is gonna be how an opportunity is, and the way of how this is, the way how you have to believe on how it seems to be, I guess, and that's the way it is, right? So you have to believe on how it's gonna be in that way, and that's the way it needs to be in that way, and that's the way it seems to be. So that's the way it kind of goes in that way. And I think to myself, is like, well, this is just an opportunity to understand how it is, and you think that everything will be fine, and that's the way it kind of concludes, right? So it's like everything will be interesting on how it is, and you think that, well, that's the way it is, right? Because that's the way it seems to be, right? So overall, what's an opportunity that I'm going to say is that everything will be all great, because you have to believe about how it's going to be in that way. And this is not going to be short and sweet. This is not going to be the way of how it is, right? So you have to understand about how it remains, and you do exactly what you're told to do, and be responsible. So the way of how this is, and the way of how this is going to be, it's the way of how it is, right? So you have to understand that an opportunity to understand, and when everything will be all great, that's the way it seems to be, right? That's the way of how it is, right? So you have to understand about out his in one way or another, and this is the way it seemed to be, I guess. So, that's the way it kind of concludes, right? So you have to understand that, right? So overall, with the way of how this is, and the way of how this is going to be, this is the way it kind of concludes. And that's the way it needs to be, right? So you have to understand, and that's the way it kind of interesting on that, right? So that's the way it